Hey guys, welcome to our Journal Entry podcast. We're so excited that you're here with us today. This podcast is where we give people a place to be vulnerable and share their hearts and testimonies of God's goodness with others. We're your hosts, Giselle and Emily. We hope you guys enjoy. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of our Journal Entry podcast.
Episode 8.
No.
9? Episode 9.
9.
I wrote it down. Take
Episode
2. Just kidding.
Anyway. What am I doing?
No,
This part is always awkward.
It's just hard to get started. But once we get rolling, we know you guys love us.
So today...
I want to stay away from saying the words. We have a very special guest. If someone could comment underneath this episode a better alternative, that would be really great. Just really help us out. We have a really awesome guest.
Yes.
I guess that's
There we
better.
go.
Really awesome guest. Our longtime friend.
Yeah. Drum roll, please.
We're not going to actually bang on the table, but...
Brandon Smith.
Woo! Party. Holla. Just kidding. Brandon, welcome.
Thanks.
We're sorry that we forced you to be here.
Against my will. But it's okay.
He's actually strapped to the chair. You can't see the restraints, but it's fine.
Good to be here.
Oh, man.
Finally.
Yeah, finally.
It's
Remember
been a
that
long
one
time
week?
coming.
Just kidding.
We're just going to laugh a lot, I guess. Anyway.
So how was your day?
Let's not talk about that. No, okay. It was a good day. I chose to make it a good day.
That's good.
That's
So,
good.
Always a plus.
That's-
Brandon,
Attitude,
for
guys.
those of you who don't know, is our friend from church. Super cool. He's like a rapper.
Yeah.
Little plug in there for his
Yeah,
music.
he has music out. Check it out on iTunes and Spotify.
and
All the
YouTube.
Everywhere where
major-
you stream
Stream, yeah.
music. So if you're streaming us on Spotify right now,
After this
that's really
episode,
cool. You get
go
to know
check it
Brandon a little bit through this, and then you click on over and you listen to his music, and you're like, "Wow, I'm a real fan now." You're welcome.
we could link his music in the
Absolutely.
description.
Down below.
At that boy Beach.
Yeah. We'll tag him on our
Hashtag fresh.
Instagram. It has 100 followers. I'm just kidding. Anyway, Brandon is also a new father.
Yes.
Round of
am.
applause, everybody. Insert clap sound here. The new father, 3-week-old baby
She's
girl.
adorable.
Baby girl.
She's really cute. We took turns holding her
Right before this.
It was really fun.
I mean, you guys can hold her all you want. I get it all the time. I get days on end. I come
Yeah.
home from lunch. I'm just like,
Oh my gosh, stop. Cute.
it's my jam.
And for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, until she's probably like 11. Then I can't.
That's true. Yeah, I guess it would be a little hard to cradle her. Although, cradling her when she's 13 in front of her friends could be a really great way to embarrass her and ruin her entire
I'd never
life.
do that.
so.
That'd be like tragic.
My parents did it to me. I turned out okay. I'm just kidding. Maybe.
Brandon, tell us a little bit about yourself before you get started.
About myself. I'm Brandon. I'm 26. I'll be 27 next month. Just had a new baby girl 3 weeks ago, and I like long walks on the beach.
Start your dating profile, Brandon.
No, I dabble with music of the rap culture, and I mean I've been doing so for 10 years. I really love it. Right now, I do have a regular 9 to 5, and that is being a shop guy at a roofing company. Shout out
Nice.
to roofers out there. because-
Roofers.
Giselle's husband's also a roofer.
Yes,
That's why
if
she
you
was so
guys
excited
didn't
about
know.
that.
That's why I said that. Gotta stick together. Yeah, I mean, I'm just an easygoing, regular guy, not too crazy, not too wild, until you get around my friends and then get a little bit weird. But yeah, just a mellow guy, starting to figure out what being a dad is like, and starting to figure out just life in general, who I am as a person. I'm learning a lot, specifically this year, and yeah, that's
Nice.
It's nice. And also, you're, did you mention it already? I didn't hear.
I don't know.
He pastors at the youth group.
I am. Yes, I'm one of the youth leaders,
Yeah.
youth leader of the middle schoolers. Love you guys if you're watching.
This is for you guys, all
This is
you
for you guys.
13-year-olds out there being cradled by your mom.
I've been off for the last 3 weeks, which has been nice because I've been bombarded with so much that's been going on. But I go back this Wednesday, and I miss the kids, and it's going to be a really great process to go through and hop back into. I'll probably speak more about it later. That basically sums up my life
Nice.
right now. I'm not
All right, and
very
that's time,
excited.
everybody.
And cut.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you agreeing to be on and offering to open up with us this week. So, all
Yeah, thank
right,
you.
Giselle.
So, Brandon, what is on your heart?
On my heart, I was asking the Lord specifically today, like, what should I speak about? What's going on? After I sent you the text message, I was like, oh, I actually got to prepare for this. I got to do something. I can't just talk.
That's okay. I wung it for my episode. So,
Wong.
wung.
Wow.
That's the previous of wing.
That is very. All right.
Guys, I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. Oh, man.
Wong it.
I wung it. I winged it. I feel like wung
I think
sounded
wung is a little
better
bit
than
more-
winged it.
Yep.
Kind of like yeet and yote,
Or
you know?
I've
swing
never
and
heard
swung.
yote. Is that the past tense of yeet?
Yeah,
Wow.
yote.
Yoke. Or is it yeeted?
No, it is not yeeted. Okay, guys.
Bro,
It
you
is
yeeted
not
over that
yeeted.
chain.
It's yote.
Anybody watch Outer Banks?
It's
Bro, did you
it's,
just yeet over that chain?
it's either yeet or be yote, not yeeted.
Huh.
Anybody who says yeeted is stupid. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Thanks.
kidding.
when you realize that. No, I don't say either.
kidding.
So there's that.
All right.
Anyway, back to you, Brandon.
Back to you.
In the studio.
I was thinking about my trust in the Lord and how far it's actually come. When I realized when I actually started trusting in the Lord, and basically at that time I thought I had trust and thought I had faith and thought, like, when I look back, it's like, really, like, I trusted the Lord, like I didn't.
Yeah.
Specifically, going to my notes. Just a few topics. When I started to learn to trust the Lord with actually my heart and my soul, I was in church all my life as a kid. From when I was 3, I was in little plays, and I always knew about God. But until I was 12 to 13, that's when I started, like, actually getting to know Him, not letting Him get to know me, if that makes sense.
Right.
I would start, like, I'd be like, okay, God, like, I'm not going to cuss anymore. And then, like, I'd be like, all right, so I'm not going to, whatever, play this video game. Because, like, I'd play GTA or whatever when I was a kid. So, it's like, I would, like, give Him certain things. And, but the things that I didn't want to give Him, I would literally just, like, ignore it. Or what I would do is, and I mean, all of us do it. When you start, like, following the Lord, it's like you'll take Bible verses and either, like, block them out or you'll, like, warp them to your liking.
Right.
And, like, I would do that all
Make
the
it
time.
fit your situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would do that all the time. When now that I'm specifically, like, clean of it, I don't know if I can say this. I used to partake in illegal substances and
They're gonna flag our episode.
controlled substances. Yeah, I used to mess with the devil's lettuce, as they would say. No, but I did that quite a bit growing up for like 9 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I would always be like, oh, like it says in the Bible about drunkards. It doesn't say anything about smoking.
Right, yeah.
But
It's
then,
pretty
like-
specific right here about one specific thing.
And I started to like, not started to, but I did. I blocked the part in my mind, and like I would hear from the Lord, and it's like it's still like mind altering. It's a mind altering
Yeah.
thing. It's, but it helps me relax. Like I had a long day. I still talk to you, God. Like it's cool. You know what I mean? Like you're not far away. And it's like it took me actually like winging myself off of it, or is it wean? It's weaning.
Weaning.
I got that from my wife. She told me winging the other day, and I was like, it's weaning. And she was like, winging.
Sorry, Rosa.
Anyways, I started to like wean myself off of it, and then I started to understand. It's like it is. It's like it's a mind altering thing, and that's the problem. That's the issue with it.
Right.
Now, when it comes to like whatever CBD and different properties and all of that, I totally believe in like the medicinal part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not definitely not meant to be like smoked or mind altering or whatever. You're just not supposed to do it. I would warp things to that. I would warp things to basically like I said, like cussing and stuff, and it would say like foul language or whatever. But I would like warp my cuss words. But now, like that I have a daughter, it's so much different. So much different. Like
Yeah.
there'd be times where like I mean yeah I still even like there would be like if I get super mad I am a bad loser at video games or like I play on like pool on my phone all the time and I'll think like I'm obviously catching myself now but like I'll whatever I'll be like and I'll either just hold it
No
in.
real cuss words, Brandon. No real cuss
No,
words. This
no.
is a family show.
No, I do it. What I started doing is like I'll replace like my words.
Certain letters. So
Yes,
it, like
no, I'd be like, but I'll say it because I won't say it. I'll say something close because I want to say it, but I'll be like, mother, father, and like just be like, but because it helps me get my aggression out, and it helps me like it's like you want to say the word, but it's definitely a feeling.
Yeah.
That you have to like express something like it's the feeling that you got to get out and that's okay to change like completely change words to express your not necessarily anger but your feelings and like channel them out because when I used to bottle them up it was a lot worse and it was a lot like because I tried like not like basically like Todd calls behavior modification so I would like try to like set myself straight and then it didn't feel right
No,
it was just more annoying and more it just aggravated me more but things of that nature and like anyways off the rabbit trail trusting in the Lord with different things and like instead of using behavior modification letting your conviction actually just sway you because if you try that behavior modification thing it just doesn't it'll aggravate you and it'll make you more upset about I'm kidding. No, it'll make you more upset about being a Christian and living as a Christian. I've known several people that were like heavy in the church, and then like something would happen in their life, and instead of trusting the Lord and dealing with the reason I say with your heart and soul is because that's like your soul is your mind, will, and emotion. So like dealing and understanding and like actually dealing with your emotions, like taking it in and actually facing them.
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to act it out and fake it to make it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I noticed that just being a real person, being a human is the best way to go about it, because I mean, God just fixes you when you're real with Him, and that's one of the most important things that I've learned about having Him deal with my mind, my will, and emotions, is just kind of let it happen and let it flow through, and then it places me like in the position that I am now. Todd was saying basically that the fact that we are in the position that we are is because He's watched us grow, me and my wife. He's watched us grow, and like the fact that He said there's a purity in the realness that we are. So it's like we don't sugarcoat stuff. We don't like if somebody asks us about our past, we just kind of like lay it out, and it happened. Like past is the past. We're all human. We're all growing. My baby's on my phone. Yeah. But yeah, don't warp the Bible to your liking. Don't try to fit in. Just this is so cliche. Just be yourself. No, but really, just be yourself.
God created you to be. Be beautiful.
And that's the end of the episode today.
Be beautiful.
Just be you. We should get a sign that says that.
Be you to the fullest.
With a little bee on it.
Goodness.
It's like a play on words. It says like bee, like a bee.
Yeah, and then you.
You. Oh, man.
Yeah, but be yourself. Trust that the Lord's going to work with you and work around your flaws. He's going to use your flaws to work for the better good. All things work together for the good of the Lord and those who love Him. Yeah, that's that part-ish.
Yeah.
Also, learning to... sorry, this is deep. Learning to trust in His word and His promises. So I love that song, All Your Promises Are Yes and Amen.
Yeah.
I don't like jam out to it much or anything, but I do love the song, and I love the symbolism of it. A while back, what was it? Within our first year, me and Rosa actually like split up for a little while. So we kind of didn't let many people know, but there was still, people would be like, "Oh, where's Rosa?" And I'd be like just I didn't grow through anything yet. But long story short, for those who don't know, Rosa, I've known her for 10 years at this point. I moved away, came back after I moved away, and then I was hanging out like with one of my friends, and he was like, "Yo, like that's your wife," but like she was backtrack. Her father was in and out of the hospital all the time, so I'm like, "Yo, you got to come to this church. It's really dope. Like, just come to church." So I started bringing her to church, and one of my friends was like, "Yo, like, is that you over there? That's you?" I was like, "No, it's not. She's just somebody I'm bringing to church." He's like, "You're hanging out with your wife and you don't even know it." I was like, "Whatever." So that service, we actually, and I remember the day like it was yesterday. It was really impactful. Like, I remember what she was wearing and everything. We went into service. She got an altar call. Well, there was an altar call, and it was like, "Oh, if you need healing, go up. If you know somebody that needs healing." And of course, her dad like was in and out of the hospital, so she went up, and she like knelt at the altar, and it was just like, "Oh," and like God was like, "That's your wife," and like to be real and straight up, God was like, "That's your wife," and like I just kind of like I was like, "Shut up." Like I knew it was him, but it wasn't like, to me it wasn't real. I was like, "There's no way." I was like, "Shut up." And he was like, said it again, like, "That's your wife," and I was like, whatever. So like I kind of like kept her going to church and kept picking her up, and then like at the time, we weren't feeling each other. It was kind of like I guess, like we just had a really close friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I was praying for my wife. That's just kind of in my season of singleness that I had. I was specifically like praying for my wife. Like, I want my wife to have curly hair, and I want her to be like petite and like I want
Describes Rosa.
her, right?
Is
But-
right in front of him.
Right. And then like, but I was praying for like months that for my wife, and then at that time, like we weren't. I don't know. We were just good friends, and that's all that was. And then a few weeks went by, and I was praying. I kept praying, and God was showing me that it's like, this is what you've literally been praying for. Like, wake up, stupid. And like it was. And then there was this one time where I was bringing her to church, and I was like hyperventilating, and like I was like, I have to tell you something. she was like, what is it? Like, what's going on? And I was like, nothing. And it took me like, I mean, when you're thinking, like 3 minutes is a long time.
Yeah.
So I was like thinking in my mind, like, how do I say this? Like, what's going on? And she was like, just say it. And I was like, I looked at her, I was like, God told me that you're my wife. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then, dude, it was such a long, quiet, awkward car ride, like 20 minutes to the church.
Oh my!
Like,
You did it at the
literally.
beginning of the car ride.
I just had to get it out. But it was so like it was such a long, awkward
That's
car
so
ride.
cute,
Like
though.
no words were said. It was just quiet. And then, like I was too like I didn't want to like turn the music on because I was like I want to be rude. You know what I mean? Like what if she wants to say something?
No, I'm gonna force this to be silent.
I was thinking like I was just like letting her think. I was like, what if she wants to say something back? And, like,
Right. I feel like it
Nope.
would be so much more awkward if he just reached forward after he said that and just turned the radio on. It was like the greatest hits of 2000, like 2018, are playing on the radio. Top 40.
Kids Bop.
Kids Bop.
It's like the country station for some reason. It's just like, oh my ex. And it's just like, wait a second. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a really awkward car ride. We got in the parking lot, and I was like, so, like, what do you think? And she was like, well, I can't say the feelings aren't mutual. And I was like, no. She was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, she was like, we've been hanging out a lot. And she was like, I was like, okay, well, listen, I want you to pray about this. I want you to spend a few days in, like, deep prayer and, like, worship and just make sure that this is right. Because, like, I was like, I'm going for marriage. Like, I'm not skipping any, like, things here. I'm not trying to date anymore. I thought I was old at the time. I was like, I'm like 22, or I'm like 20. I was 21. I was like, I'm 21. I'm ready to get married. Like, I'm.
I feel like no other 21-year-old guy thinks that way, though.
Well, yeah.
For the most part.
Well,
Well, I've known quite a few.
I've known some, but I feel like just like generally in the world.
Yeah, no, yeah.
21-year-old guys just
They're like,
like
Well,
out
yeah.
there partying and stuff.
I did all of that my teenage years. I was a very rebellious child.
Yeah.
Man, that's a whole nother episode.
it's a whole other episode. You'll have to come back next week.
Yeah.
We'll still
Wait,
be
really?
sitting here.
No, but yeah, she was like, everything's mutual, and I was like, okay, pray about it. She was like, no, we're gonna try this. I was like, what? She was like, no, I think we're gonna try this. And we walked in all cute, like holding hands, and everybody's like, no. And we're like, yeah.
They're like passing money around. Like, dude, I bet that it would happen like next week. Like, man, I lost a bet. Like betting.
Yeah, but I said long story short before that, didn't I? No, but that's what happened, and then we ended up breaking up under certain circumstances, and what broke me in that point is like I knew I heard God tell me that she was my wife, so it's like it was kind of like, God, like I thought your promises were like yes and amen, and I thought like you were true, like, and I started doubting. I was like, did I even hear you? Like, is that really you? Because that sounded a lot like you, and I've heard your voice before, and it's like basically like understanding that I had to go through that process as well. Oh my goodness! And that sorry, side note,
Good.
that week was also the week of, like, I was in inner healing at that time. It was like the week of like forgiveness, and I was like, really? Like, so yeah, it just kind of, it broke me, and I was like, for a month, I was kind of like, I wasn't necessarily depressed. I was just numb,
Yeah.
like really numb. But I mean, fast forward, what, 6 years later, 5 years later, like, we're actually married. We have a kid. I was thinking about that today, and I was like, what if I was just like stubborn in my ways, and like I was just like, no, like I'm not gonna try to get back with her. I'm not gonna try to work it out. Like, my daughter would have never been born, and it's like, that's like literally like, everybody's like, oh, the bundle of joy, but it's like I literally come home from work, like a crappy day at work, and like I see her, and I just light up. And it's like it's a literal feeling. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, you don't know until you're a father." Like, it's true. It's all true. And I used to like knock people for it, but it's like, it's literally true. And like, the things that everybody says, like, "Oh, it's gonna be so difficult. Like, get prepared because you're never gonna sleep again." Like, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it. Like, I don't sleep much anymore. Sorry. Taco Bell. I don't sleep much anymore, but like, that's, it's gonna last for like a few months, and then it's like, she's gonna grow up for the rest of her life. But like, it's because I talk to her, like, I'll talk to her and I'll be like, I just need you to stay this small for like ever. Stay this small. But like, I can already see.
Cute. Maybe we'll insert a picture of her right here.
Right here.
Let's bring her in.
Right.
And he's just like waiting behind the door.
Can we bring her
Go
in?
for it.
Hang on. I'll be right back, guys.
But yeah, it's nuts the way that it ultimately changes your life. And I was just like, I was thinking about that today, to where it was like, like, what if I would have just been stubborn in my ways? Like, what if I didn't trust that that's what he said to me?
Right, yeah.
What if I didn't, like, because I mean, I've always been a stubborn person. Whenever I, like, it's good and bad.
I'm back.
She's back.
Here she is.
She's so cute.
Show you.
Sleeping Beauty.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
Make a face at the camera.
Smile.
And if you're just listening, you're going to want to click to YouTube because that was worth it, just so you know.
Okay, bye, guys.
Giselle's not coming back.
And that's the show.
Yeah, I think that's like, I feel like there are like so many different like situations like in life where like you can look back and think, okay, God, if I wasn't obedient in this moment, how much different would my life be?
Yes, 100%.
Like, would I have the people in my life that I have in my life right now? Like,
Yeah.
all of like this, like last year's, you meet certain people and you grow in certain ways. Would I still be the same person I am right now had I not said yes?
Right.
It's
it is that, like, it does get down to that, like, if you weren't obedient, like, daily decisions in your life, or even though just the rough times, like, your flesh wants to act out, like, so bad.
Right.
If you don't, like, if you don't hold that back, it's a problem. It can be fixed, but like, your life would like alter itself. I couldn't imagine.
Right.
I really couldn't imagine. Also, like, when I was living with you guys,
Everybody lived with us.
everybody lived with us. Andrew.
I never lived with them. I have a key to their house and I spend the night frequently, but I never lived with them.
When I lived with you guys, like, it's, again, obviously, like, it's all a growing process now when I look back on it, but I was seriously depressed. Like, I was, like,
Yeah, I remember that.
I was in when I was here, like, when I was in that room, I was like, oh, it's cool. But, like, when I moved to the garage, like, they chained me up and left me.
We tied him to the chair,
furnace.
and we also used to make him live in the garage.
That's so bad.
They chained me up and handcuffed me to the furnace. fed me every 2 hours. It was good.
We passed food under the door to Brandon. We didn't even open the door. It was like a hard piece of bread and some like gross water. We just slid it under the door.
It was in a bowl, actually. A bowl of water through a cat door, so I couldn't fit, but they could pass stuff through.
Oh my god.
Really though, like when I was living in your garage, it was a choice. That's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, like that was what, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm 25, living in somebody else's garage, and it's like they're younger than me, and like, what the heck am I doing? Like, what has my life come to? And it's like,
Right.
God, like, you told me I'm supposed to be this special person, and I'm gonna get through all of that. Like, there's been a lot of like prophecy over my life that I have. It's not yet come to pass, but people in different cities who never like spoke with each other have said the same exact thing, like verbatim.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Wow.
and I was just nuts. Like I was going nuts about like living in, and it had nothing to do with you guys, like specifically. Like you guys gave me a place to live, and I'm forever grateful. It was more of just like I thought I would be somewhere else when I was 25, and it was
That's
like,
completely understandable.
I was livid every day at myself, and I was literally, I just dug myself into a deep dark hole. Didn't want to do music. Like Kyron would come in and be like, "Yo, show you this. Like I'm gonna show you this and this and that." I'd be like, "Sweet." And I like go back into my like deep dark cave.
Into
and,
your
like,
garage.
into my garage. Yeah, just a man and his dog.
Literally.
But no, I mean it was still cool. It was solid. Like I mean I'm still like I'm forever grateful, and it was still like it was a very big learning process. That's literally where I dug myself out of depression.
Yeah.
I had to literally like take a book of God's promises and like speak them out loud over my
Yeah.
life in order to even like start to like get back up and going again.
Yeah.
And it worked. It definitely worked. And now, which is nuts, dude. Like now that I look back at it, it's like I'm teaching my youth kids the same exact thing, and it's like you just see like how God literally transformed that. And like these kids, even though they're 12, 13, 14, like it breaks my heart sometimes because like I'll speak about depression, and they're literally like they. When I spoke about depression, I spoke about like suicidal thoughts. I literally spoke about like real stuff. And
Yeah.
I spoke about it saying like, listen, like when you guys get older, like in your teenage years and like it's tough, like a lot of them like broke down crying as I was speaking, and people came up to me and it was
It starts a
young.
lot earlier. Like I feel like now too.
Yes.
Before I
Yeah.
feel like years before it wasn't like that bad, but like
Right.
now it's like getting younger and younger.
Right.
I feel like
young.
it's all with like social media and how fast
Yeah.
people can digest things
Yeah.
nowadays. Where like when we were younger, social media wasn't really a thing.
Right.
Like I don't think Instagram came out until
It was like 2010.
yeah,
2009.
and I was like 12 or 13 when
Yeah.
Instagram came out. So, I mean, I had already lived majority of my I had lived my entire life up to that point without ever seeing people's posts, without
Yeah.
ever communicating with people at a high speed. I didn't have a phone until I was like
Yeah.
14.
Right.
So it was like nowadays these kids have phones at like 9 years
Yeah.
old, at like just like
Yeah.
8 years old. They're like on Instagram watching all of these things and seeing all these things about how they should be. And so they see that their life is not that because they're 11, and
Right.
it's like, you know, it is hard to digest that much information. There's like studies that people have done on like how many people were like as human beings were able to like have relationship with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And social media tries to force you to have relationship with like hundreds or
Yes.
thousands of people at one time. And
Definitely.
we're not built to have intimate relationship with thousands of people at
Right.
one time.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
it is crazy, yeah.
and
It'll be like,
I think that's
George
why-
found you on Facebook, like,
Yeah.
or they have a Facebook as of yesterday. Maybe you should like add them, and it's like,
and you're like, yeah, maybe I should. And then you're like seeing their posts and like, this is somebody that like
Exactly.
you talk to once a year, if that
Right.
at all. And you're seeing their
Their-
entire details of their lives
Yeah.
just put out there at such a young age.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's scary. And like, yeah, they come up to me and they're just like, they'll be crying or they'll say something. And I mean, I'm not going to put anybody out there, but it's like, they'll say something and it's like, dude, like, I didn't even deal with that until I was like 17.
Right.
Like, and my mind is just like broken. Cause it's like, I can't just be like, oh yeah, like you'll get through it, bud. Like you're young. And it's like, that doesn't apply. It's not like, oh, you're young. It's like, I literally have to like encourage them and like pull up like verses and
It's really sad.
give them
Yeah.
like there was somebody, one of my students that she was struggling with something, and I literally, like, the book of God's promises that I used, I was like, this is what I used to get out of my mess, like, take this. And like, yeah, she's 12
Wow.
and it's just so scary to like
Crazy.
to see that stuff like that's going on at such a young age. But I mean, it's also, I mean, on the flip side, like, to understand and know that I really am helping them. Like, they love coming to see me. They love, like, and they'll tell me like, thank you, like, this really helped me. This message was great today. And like, I'll get like little words from their parents or whatever. And it's like, so and so read their Bible every day this week. And it's like,
Wow.
and it's like to see the impact that's actually going on. Like, when I first started, I was just like, there's like, why me? Like, really?
Yeah.
You know, like, I was in depression like 2 years ago, guys. Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
But yeah, waiting on his promises, understanding that he is faithful and he will be faithful.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very big. God promised me, oh my goodness. God promised me, like, while I was in the garage.
Sorry. It just sounds funny every time you say
It's
it.
forever funny.
I was in the garage, being sad, being fed through the cat door. Not even a dog door; it's a cat door. It's
Yeah.
smaller than a
I
dog
could
door.
slide through the dog door. The cat door, no. No, but like, as I was in there, God spoke to me and said that, like, I'll have a house before I'm married. And I was just freaking out. Another one of those times where it's like, God, like, you told me this. Like, I heard you. You told me this. And like, just like, whatever. I was getting married in 3 months, and then that's when they got married. So like, I was moving out, and I was like, Lord, like, what is going on? I didn't have much money saved up at the time.
Right.
And it was like, yeah, I'm going to get a place. So it's like, there was something in me that, like, I wanted to, and I mean, it may be my own pride still, but I didn't want to live in an apartment because I lived in apartments all of my life.
Yeah.
So it's like, I didn't want neighbors. I didn't want anybody banging on my walls or telling me to shut up or whatever it is, whatever I grew up with when I was younger. Rosemarie herself had lived in actual, like, broken down trailers all of her life. So she didn't want, like, an actual trailer. There was a time where I didn't have enough money and I didn't have the credit to get a regular house. And I was like, why don't we just get an apartment? Like, we'll deal with it. And then we went to the place that we're at now. And I was like, God, like, if this is still going to happen, because we were going back and forth there and other places, but it just didn't look promising at the time. I had to save up like $3,000 in like 3 months. And it just wasn't like, it didn't look real. It didn't look possible. But I was like, God, if this is real, like, let it happen. Let's see what's going to happen. He promised me a house before I was married. And it got down to to the wire.
Literally,
Like,
right.
literally to the wire. And it was like, trusting in God's word and trusting in just understanding, like, I was like, no, God, like, you said this, like, you said I'm going to have a place to stay with my wife before I'm married. And it, like, I literally got the house like a week before I got married. So
I remember that.
I was extremely, like, at that time, not even, I was depressed, but I was getting myself out of the depression. It was like the act of getting myself out of depression, and it was more of I was saying no to depression and just, like, kind of, like, speaking God's word over my life.
Right.
Specifically, like, I did it to get out of depression, and like whenever like the enemy would try to hit me, like I would just hit back. So it was a literal battle.
Yeah.
Which it was nuts. It was crazy. And even in the process of getting the house, like we were about to close, and she was like, "You're short $700," and I was like I saved up $3,000 in 3 months, and like I'm short $700. Like, what am I gonna do now? What I did is I called Massey, and I was like, Massey, I don't know what to do. I just need your like advice. And
Right.
I was like Massey, like he was the guy at the time when we were all in Devoted, and like
Yeah.
Throwback to when Massey was part of Devoted and actually
Right.
liked us. Rip.
but like I just kind of he was like I was like, I need your advice, like I don't know what to do. He was like, no, you're not calling for advice, you're calling for help. You need help. And I was like, no, I just want you to tell me something good. He was like, no, you need help, I'm gonna call you back. And he hung up. Came like I was at this point, I was like bawling my eyes out in front of the office, and like he called back in like 10 minutes, and like during that 10-minute period, I was sitting there and I was like crying, and I looked at Rosa and I was like, no, like God wouldn't bring us this far to just shut us down.
Yeah,
like
right.
it's not like, oh, he has something better. Like I was like, this is it. Like it's not like, oh, like we're getting married in a week.
Yeah.
Like it was real. Like I was like, he wouldn't do this to shut us down. And I just took it as like a faith building exercise. And I looked at her and I was like, God, we have favor. Like God is for us. Like this is not gonna happen. This is just a faith building exercise. And I like recognized that. Massey called me back in 10 minutes. He was like, hey, we got the money. Don't worry about how we got it. Like meet me at the bank. And in a half hour, I was like,
Wow. We're gonna rob it.
never-
That would have been Massey's next word.
oh yeah, bring a mask.
And a bag with a dollar sign on it.
Oh, okay. I guess if you say so.
Meet me at the bank in 15 minutes. Bring a mask.
But I mean, now I know what happened. Like I didn't like he was like, don't ask. Don't ask how it's gonna happen. Just go with it.
I know a guy.
But
Actually, don't meet me at the bank. Meet me behind the bank in the alley.
but yeah, that's
Oh,
how
man.
that's kind of how it went down, and I ended up learning later that like Massey literally, like, I still don't know to this day who it was, but he texted a bunch of people from the church, and like they all like pooled together to like
Wow.
That's so crazy.
and like he was like, he told me that, and he was like, you guys are loved, like this is why like this is why you guys are you guys, and like you guys are loved, you guys, and like we were both crying. But anyways, after I dropped that phone call of him telling me to meet him at the bank, like I was like, my tears of like sadness and like frustration turned to tears of joy like instantly.
Wow.
And like I was crying and I was so sad, but then like I was like, okay, I'll meet you at the bank, and I hung up and I looked at Rosa. She was like, you got the money? I was like, see, you're not gonna let us down. And, like I went to the bathroom and like look, I did one of those stupid things where like you ever cry and then you go to the bathroom and you look at yourself crying and you're like ugly. And it's,
You
like,
just
dude,
want to know how ugly you
right.
are.
And like I was
Two people's eyes. I was crying. Your eyes are like puffy and red. Your whole face is red. Your mascara is running down your face.
totally it was. No, but it like I was and I went to the bathroom and I looked at my ugly cry, but like it was weird. Like I wanted to remember, and I still remember what I looked like. I wanted to remember myself, and it was like, this is what it looks like when God works a miracle in your life. Like,
Wow.
right now.
Yeah.
Like this is the happiness that He brings you to, and like it was a roller coaster of emotions in 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
But yeah, trusting in His faith and His timing and His promises. Like I know He promised me a house before I would get married,
Yeah.
and like trusting in the timing is so hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it
it
was
is.
literally a week before. Next note, yeah, that's amazing. Trusting, trusting in the process of his plans and timing. Moving on. So,
Next.
no, I still struggle with this whole timing thing and processing of his plans
Yeah.
because this rap thing with music, I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been dabbling with it literally for 10 years. And like people are telling me these things like, oh, you're going to be awesome in music and like this and that. And it was like, it just kind of, there was a time in my life where I was like, yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going after it. Like, I'm about to like do it. And like, then it just kind of got put on the back burner several times and like faded away. And then I just had to learn like it's gonna happen when God says it's gonna happen.
Right.
And like, I was praying to God, like, God, like, he's so funny. And it's I'm still working through it. But I'm also learning brand new things about myself. So I was like, God, like, I want to put like a studio in my house, and I want to make a studio, and like, I want to have a room dedicated to music, and I just want to work in it, and like, it would be so awesome, Lord, like, just let me get the money. And then he gave me the money, and now I don't have the time. So it's like, it's like I have it in my house, but it's like I literally am so booked with everything else. I don't have time to make music. Like I record here and there, but it's like I don't have like, it's like hours and hours of mixing and like trying to actually do stuff right or whatever. Or I'll go back and listen to it. I'll be like, nah, I gotta redo that. So it's like now I'm in that situation to where it's like I love doing it. I just don't have the time, and now it's like I still sit in there, like literally I'll sit in there and do nothing, and I'll just be like, God, like you still helped manifest this, and like thank you. And I'm turning everything into like gratitude. Everything that if I start to have a bad feeling about something, I'll literally flip it and turn it to gratitude always. And now I'm starting to learn more about myself. Like I have loved music all my life, and I've loved rapping all my life. The process, not so much. Like I don't like making music. I love the end product of it. I love the way you can warp it, and like, yeah, I love the end product of it. But now I'm starting to like learn more about like acting, and I've always wanted to be an actor type of thing, but I've always like music has just been more like natural, like rapping, like writing. Whenever I would have to write an essay or something, it would just be better. It would just like I could literally like pull one out of my butt and be like, hey, close. Like I was just good at writing, and like I'm always good at rhyming and whatever. And then I started learning that like acting is literally like, or rapping is like acting behind a microphone.
Yeah.
So I was always good with that, and I've always like studied in movies and just understanding who God's created me to be. Like me and Rosa will watch a movie. I'll be like, "Did you catch that?" She'll be like, "What?" I'll be like, "He had food on his plate, and then it was gone, and then it was back." And it was like,
They left that in.
right? So like I catch that stuff, and I always loved that stuff. Like whatever in TV shows, breaking the fourth wall. And,
I do that a lot on this podcast.
But I love that type of stuff, and I just think it would be a lot more fun. So I've been dabbling more into acting, and we'll see where that takes me. But it's all in God's timing.
Right.
I'm learning to trust the process. Like as of now, like I would love to have it happen right now, but right now it's not even like, I don't want to say it's not even close, but like I'm learning to trust the timing because like the provision aspect of it, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work. So I can't fit all that in with my 9-to-5 job now. Let me look at something because I might be having to talk about something else. Okay, I'll figure it out. I'm kind of going into something else, but yes, trusting the process is a big thing that I'm literally still struggling with right now. Like I don't have any answers for it. I don't have like, all I have is the stuff that I know was prophesied over me and prophesied to me, and the visions that I literally have that I'm not allowed to tell anybody. But like I've had visions in my mind of certain things, and my dream has gotten bigger. Instead of just like I wanted to be a rapper on stage, and that was like my dream, and then like it's literally progressed to now I want to be a like a not a CEO, but I want to own a university of the arts for Christians. So it's like whatever, it's like acting, voice acting, like video game design, everything. Like I just want to get my hands in everything of all of that and like create a school, an affordable school at that, for Christians to be able to like study the arts. And like because now, I mean even starting earlier, like, but there was like a flip in like 2016 where it's like people were like screw college, like I'm just gonna do my passion, and then they'd like blow up on Vine or like Instagram or whatever, and like they just start getting sponsors and stuff like that. So it's like there's a lot, like times are changing at that, like people aren't doing trades anymore. But yeah, that's a short one. I'm still going through that right now.
That's really cool.
Trusting in God is basically the basis of all of this. So trusting in God with your relationships, whether it's friendships, intimate relationships, like with your girlfriend or friend that's a girl, whatever.
Who could be your future wife?
Right.
Praying for her, she's standing right in front of you.
Right in front of you, and then you
even-
tell God to shut up by accident. But yeah, trusting in your relationships. There's been times where the four of us have gotten into it, and me and Kyron got into it all the time. I remember when we first started roofing, there was, I don't want to get into detail because I don't know if he's comfortable with me sharing. So when he
I like the back and forth motion.
I thought when we first started, I'm trying to think. When we first started roofing, I thought Kyron was like just seriously a jerk. Like he was a great friend at at home, but then we would go to roofing, we would go to work, and be like, why are you being such a jerk? Like what is going on? And then we found out why and understood what all happened, but at that time, instead of like at first like we would like be petty to each other, like completely petty to each other. It was so stupid. But
how mature.
right. But then like what I started doing, I was like, God, like I started talking to God in the morning. Like God, Kyron's like a really good friend to me, and it's like I don't know what changes about work, but I don't know what's going on. And I started literally like praying for his heart. Like I was like, help him to like. It was selfish, but I was like, help him to realize that he's being a jerk. But like,
help him to realize that he sucks.
At the time, it was kind of a thing where it was like, I knew I wasn't in the wrong. Like, yes, I was in the wrong for being petty, but like there was just a shift when he got to work.
Yeah.
And then there was one day I was like praying for like 2 months. Like God, like help him to realize, like change his heart, renew his mind. And then there was one day we were working. And, like, out of nowhere, he was like, Brandon. I was like, what? He was like, I've been such a jerk, and I'm so sorry. I was like, what? What? What did you just say? Like, he was like, I've been really, like, such a jerk, and, like, I've got all this weighing on me, and this is difficult. And, like, he was like, I've been putting it, like, breaking you down, and, like, I've just been such a jerk. And I was like, inside, like, I was like, yes. I was like, no, dude, like I get it. I'm like
Such a bro thing. Nah, bro, you're good.
You're good.
I didn't even
Cool.
notice.
Right. I didn't even know. No, but like, no, I told him, I was like, I understand it did get hard. And like, I was like, I've been trying to deal with it, but like, I was like, I was just thinking maybe something was wrong with me, and like, maybe my heart was bitter for no reason. And like, but he was like, I'm sorry. I was like, you know what? I was like, I've been being a jerk too. Like I've been being petty. Like I'm sorry. And it started like it worked itself out. And that's kind of how it ended up happening. Like we've had a bunch of disagreements. Like even up until this point. Not recently, but up until the point we're at now, like we've had a bunch of disagreements that we had to like work through, and I like instead of like I would try to talk to Kyron about it, and then like we just wouldn't see eye to eye. And then like after I went to God about it and spoke to God, and like there was some times where he would be like, give Kyron some time, like he's going through something right now that you don't know. Or like even me, he'd be like, listen, dude, like you got to check yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're like you're in the wrong. Like you're being bitter, or you have jealousy in your heart, whatever it may be. Going to God with your relationships should be the first step. Like whenever you get into, me and my wife call them bickerments. It's not a word. It's not quite an argument, but you're like kind of past bickering, so it's a bickerment. But it's not quite an argument. You're not like screaming, but you're like disagreeing with each other and upset. But when you get into those, like your first step should be like after that, after you like not try to squash it, or maybe you'll try to squash it, but you still feel something in your heart. You still feel some kind of way. Like go straight to God with it, because it's like I've learned that so much, and even with my wife. Love you. But like there will be times where it's like we really just don't see eye to eye, and like one of us will apologize and it'll be like, I'm so sorry, like listen, I didn't notice that this is how you felt, or I didn't notice that this is how you wanted me to react, or this is what you were thinking in your mind. Relationships are a big part. Keep your circle small, like Cheerios. And
like Cheerios.
Keep it in, like, keep your circle small, but keep your like, how do I say this? Be teachable to everybody that you may know, but like have that one small select group of friends that can encourage you, that'll be there for you. The ones that you know are going to be there for like a lifetime. Like even to this day, I still don't. We don't talk much, but he's still like personally my best friend. Yeah. Like he may have a different best friend as somebody else, but he's still my best friend, and that's because I can. More cliche. I can be who I am around him. Like I'm literally like black and white, and I'm not more black than I am more white. Like I'm both, and I love myself about that, but I can be both around him. You know what I mean? Like I can be like, we can like, he was just showing me a beat. And I don't have to be like, oh yeah, like this is cool. Like I can literally just, and he completely understands. Like, bro, like, fire, dog. Like he completely understands. Or like sometimes we'll be goofing around, and I'll be like, hey, Kyron, hey, how's school going? Is it going pretty good? You like this? When I talk like this? Like that's the white side of me. So it's like. I can that's such a white.
Turns it on and off. It's like a light switch.
Yeah. But I'm literally both, and I literally love that about myself.
Yeah.
I don't have to act either or. Like the way I grew up, I was like pressed to act more black, because that was like kind of the cooler thing to do. Right. Black people are so cool.
I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna refrain because I'm white.
You're not full white.
I'm not full white.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I am not full white.
White
anyway,
people are really cool
moving
too.
on.
But yeah, trust God in your relationship.
I can't stop thinking about it either.
Trust God in your relationship.
Oh man.
Okay.
The title of this episode is just gonna be "Black People Are So Cool."
Thumbnail.
Clickbait.
Right, clickbait.
Clickbait.
But white people are really cool too.
Just put it out there.
They are. They're just cool in their own type of way. Black people are smooth. I'll put it that way. Suave.
White people, you're not suave. Sorry.
Another thing that I've learned, this is a big one for everyone and anyone, trusting God with your finances and the provision. Yeah. Like, not even just finances, just provision in general. Like, I've learned that more in the past year than I have my entire life. So that whole incident with getting my house and getting that $700, that's what started it and like kicked it off. But then it was like even after that, like I was struggling to keep my house.
Yeah.
And like not keep my house. I was struggling to keep up with the bills.
Yeah.
So it was just very, 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 very tough. But like working through that and understanding that I'm not the provider of my house. Like, yes, I am the provider, but like God is
Yeah.
who provides everything for me.
Right.
Like, I was still on the roof or kind of. So I was in a flooring job when I first got my house, and that wasn't paying well at all. And then I went back to roofing, and that still wasn't like I wasn't making it. So I got a call from a different company, and then that's all that like whatever. That's where like it started to like that's where I started to trust, is because like as I was roofing and I wasn't understanding that like the hard part was tithing. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. So like I wanted to be good at tithing, but yet like I wasn't making enough for my bills, and I was like, God, like how am I supposed to tithe if I know I'm not gonna like keep my house? Like what's going
Yeah.
on? But I would start to tithe anyways, like a little bit. Like I wouldn't tithe the 10%. I would just tithe a little bit. And then that's when like I got a call and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna double your salary from a different company." I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." So then I started like with the more money that I had, I was like, that catapulted me to like like I was like, God, like take more. Like,
Yeah.
and then now, I mean, I've been there for a year. Things have been going really good, and now I'm in another spot where like literally as of today, they're like, you're not allowed overtime anymore. So it's like they were cutting your hours, and like I was like,
What?
dang. And like I just had a daughter, and it's like I have to
What?
provide, and it's like, but like it's crazy how like I would have freaked out. Rosa isn't working anymore, so it's like I don't have help from her. Like the switch from where I was to now, like I literally took it as gratitude. Like this morning, I was like, I get to wake up early and get off earlier, or I get to wake up later and get off earlier. Like great, like awesome, like thanks God. Like
Yeah.
it's such a flip compared to where I was, and this was only a year ago.
Yeah.
I took it with gratitude. I know God's gonna provide. Period.
Right.
Like I know it, and there's no doubt in my mind. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna freak out. I'm not gonna like even like I don't even have like anxiety inside that I
Yeah.
have to like compress. Like
Right.
it's all just like I'm literally just going with the flow. And I literally thanked God this morning. I was like me and my wife are having breakfast and coffee. Like thank you, Lord. Like this is good stuff. And I got off earlier today. I was like, because I used to work from like 6 to 6. So it was like,
Wow.
yeah, that's what was beating me up a lot too. And I mean, I was making great money, like cool, but like that's like money isn't everything. Like it's
Yeah.
really not. And I'm still able to like we have enough savings, and like another thing, like I'm starting to be able to save, and like shout out to Mariah. When our baby was born, like she took our pictures and like we were able to like bless her and like
Wow.
start, and it's not like, and it's not like it doesn't, I guess you could say like it's not like it doesn't hurt like
Right.
whenever you like give,
Yeah.
but it's such more like it's more gratifying just understanding where I've been and having gratitude, knowing it's like, Lord, like I actually gave somebody money, like and it was just like, thank you. Like I'm blessed to bless other people.
Yeah.
And it makes me so much more happy, where it's like I remember when like me and Rosa would literally look at each other and we'd be like, I'm hungry. Like she'd be like, what do you have? I'd be like, $1.65. Like, what do you got? 63 cents? And it's like,
It's back when he was living in the garage.
yeah, totally. No, but I mean, even when we had our house, like, I mean, even for groceries, as a grocery standpoint, like, we were like, there was a time where we'd spend like $50 on groceries and be like, oh. But then like now it's like, whatever. I just spent $190 on groceries, and it didn't put a damper on
Yeah,
anything.
wow.
And like even my like, yes, it lowered my account, but negative. But my heart is still good.
Overdrawn.
No, but I mean, I'm still okay. Like it just kind of like, it was like, oh, like my account is lower than what it usually is, but I was like, dude, like I remember when I had like 11 cents in my account, and it's like I still made it through. Like, y'all ever had sleep for dinner? Oh, like, from the hood. No, but yeah, it's like, it's so gratifying, and when you start to recognize the provision of God with your finances, the more you give him, the more he's going to give you.
Right.
Again, that's another cliche. And like, people talk about like, oh, you give God like this, and like he'll give you tenfold, and it's like, I don't know what tenfold is. Oh,
Revelation right there.
totally.
That was
No,
his daughter makes that same face. I just
gets it from her dad.
I was-
No, it was a total like revelation. So, I totally forgot this, but this also goes with finances. I had saved up like $1,000 when I was living in the garage. No, literally, I saved up like $1,000, and I mean that's still not enough to get a house or an apartment or anything. So I saved up like $1,000, and I'm sitting there with like laying down, and I was like, God, thank you. Like, for letting me save $1,000, like I've never saved up this much before, and it's like, I was like, Lord, like, just thank you so much. And I was like ready to go to sleep, and I was listening to like a Todd White sermon, just thanking God, being grateful. I was like, God, thank you so much for giving me $1,000. Like I couldn't have done it without you. And it was like in this, literally, like I was laying down in this ear, it was like, give me all of it. You said, huh?
and you're like, Todd White?
Right? Yeah.
That's so aggressive,
I don't
sir.
And I was like, what? Give me all of it. And I was like, that can't be God. Like, I'm just trying to be humble. And
It's like loud, booming voice. Give me all of it. And you're like,
Your room shakes.
that can't be God.
no.
This is fine.
Right?
It's a weird storm outside. Huh.
Man, I didn't know it was going to storm outside. Titan, are you growling over there? Yeah, I prayed on that for 3 days. And then there was this time where I was driving down Citrus, I was coming back home from Rosa, because that was right after explaining that what just happened. And she was like, yeah, I trust you. I was like, crap. Like, she should have said, like, don't do it.
The one time I need her to fight me on this.
Right. She was like, yeah, I mean, I trust you. I trust what you're doing. I was like, okay. So I'm driving down Citrus, literally bawling my eyes out. And I was like, God, I don't know if I could do this. Like, this is all of my life savings, like, all my money. And then, like, it was just like a consoling, like, shh, like, listen. Literally, like, it was like, if you give me all of it, like, great, like, I love you. And it's, again, I was like, if you give me half, I'm still going to love you. If you give me none, I'm going to love you just as much as if you gave me all. And I was like, oh, God. Oh, God.
You can have all of it and everything else I'm ever going to have.
Have my shirt. But, like, yeah, that's what broke it for me. And I was like, that's kind of what happened.
Wow.
And then as I was putting it in, like, as I was ready to put it in the tithes that Sunday, ask Rosa, like, I was bawling. Like, probably not the hardest I've ever cried, but it was bad. Probably, like, the third hardest I've ever cried.
Top 3 cries.
Top 3 cries.
Next week we'll go around and everyone will
Right.
name their top 3 cry moments.
But yeah, I'm putting it in. I'm about to put it in, and then God's like, "No, like stop. Save $300. Like, just save $300. You're gonna need it." And I was like, "Okay." So I put $700 in, and then this, long story short, God's like, you're going to see a waitress when you go to lunch with brown hair and blue eyes. And I was like, okay. Like, he's like, give that to her. I was like, okay. So me and Rosa ended up going to lunch. We were going to go someplace, and then we went someplace else because there was too long of a wait. We went to lunch. I was like, God told me that I'm going to see somebody with brown hair and blue eyes. Like, where do you ever see that? So we get our waiter, and I was like, she had, like, blonde hair and green eyes. I was like, that's not. No, but
This
just a
seems
God,
wrong.
right? No, but then, like, we saw somebody who wasn't our waiter, brown hair, blue eyes, looked like she was, like, having a bad day and crying. I was like, I looked at Rose. I was like, that's her right there.
You're like trying to gesture to her, like
was one of those
subtly
things-
in the booth. You're like,
She is so bad at that. I'll be like, that's her. Don't look. She'll be like, thanks.
knocks over like 8 other people's like water cups in the process.
Just
Like
spill it
glass on the floor.
But no,
Water break.
Wait, are we all taking
no,
drinks?
not again. Sorry. Pregnancy joke.
Having flashbacks.
Pregnancy joke.
It's like PTSD.
Yeah, but it ended up being a different waitress, and I just walked up to her and I was like, "Hey, I'm a Christian. I don't know what you're going through. I just wanted to let you know that God loves you. Jesus is with you, and like, I don't want to give like Christians a bad rap. Like, God told me to give this to you." And I handed her like $300, and she started crying. Like, it's weird.
I broke the waitress.
Right. And I was like, I want to know if it's okay if my wife can pray for you. And she was like, yeah, that's totally fine. So I brought her over, and Rosa started praying for her. And, like, it turns out, like, she was working that day. And, like, the week before, she had, like, a newborn boy. So it's like she, like, was definitely, like, if you're working as a waitress and you had a new baby, like, you didn't get any leave or whatever,
Yeah.
like, you're struggling for money that bad, like, I probably gave her, like, a week's paycheck. And, like, that was that. And then the reason I went is because when I was still living here, that's when God told me, give me all your money. Stick up. No, but
You and Massey when you went to the
back
bank.
to the bank robbery.
We've come full circle.
He was like, yeah, when he said that, he told me, he was like, give me $700 and keep the $300 for the waitress. And then it wasn't a year. What was it? Probably a good 6 to 8 months later, I was $700 short on my house. So, like, that came back. You know what I mean?
Wow,
And
that's
it was
cool.
like
That's amazing.
the
That's
fact that-
incredible.
and if I wasn't obedient, you know, that's another thing. Like, what would have happened? Like, my life
Yeah.
might be completely different. And I love
Right.
my house. I absolutely love my house now that it's painted.
And has walls.
Yeah. But it's good. Like, my daughter's got her own room. I have a studio. Her room's pink.
Appropriately so.
Appropriately so. Oh my goodness. When she was born, everybody's like, she was like, the baby went straight to her chest, straight to Rosa's chest, and then everybody's like, did anybody check if it was a girl? Like, everybody check if it was still a girl? Because like, it was at like week 14 in her stomach when they were like, oh, it's a girl, and I was like, great, and I was like, they were like, sometimes they're wrong. I was like, well, he's got a pink room, so that's not going to be good. Thank God. it's
We'll
a
have
girl.
to start saving for therapy now.
So
We're not
long,
painting
everyone.
the
I'll
room.
remember you all in therapy. But yeah, the big thing in my life that I've gone through, that I've dealt with the most, is not necessarily faith, but like, because I've always had a firm faith, but the actual trust of God and trusting that He's got me in His arms, like with everything and anything that I do. Understanding that there's times that I'm gonna go through crap for a reason, but to trust Him in the process of it, and then in that, like, builds your faith 100%.
Wow. That's awesome.
Any questions? I've been writing
Thoughts, comments. I have been taking
thoughts,
notes.
comments, concerns.
Emotional outbursts. Here are my notes, in case you don't believe me. I was paying attention. No, I just thought it was really cool when you were talking about trusting in like his word and in his promises, when you were talking about how you kind of just got to a place where you just decided, like, I can't sit in this hole anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's not getting me anywhere. I'm not getting any different answers. Like, I can't just like sit here and be sad anymore. Like, I have to start dealing with some things, and I have to start somewhere. And like, you didn't know where that was, but like, you just knew that you had to do something. It's just one of those things where it's like, we have opportunities, not just as like Christians, but as just people in general. We can keep being victims to our situations and keep crying about it and being like, well, I was, God told me this, so I'm just going to sit and I'm just going to like cross my arms and I'm going to wait for it to happen. And like, life sucks and I'm sad and like, God, I'm mad at you because this isn't happening in the time that I want it to happen. Like, no, you got up and you did something about it. Yeah. You were like, I can't sit here and be sad anymore. I can't sit here and be sorry for myself. Like, if things are going to get better, things have to change. Yeah. And that's just like the reality is like, I think he will be faithful to us no matter our level of obedience, which is why I like when you said when God spoke to you and you were really struggling about whether or not you'd give him the full $1,000. He was like, if you give all of it to me, I'll love you. Yeah. If you give half of it to me, I'll love you. If you give none of it to me, I'll still love you. Yeah. And then he turned around and he blessed you anyway. Yeah. It's crazy. I feel like no matter, like, this is going to, like, come across or, like, sound weird. I'm just going to say it and then I'll clean it up. I feel like whether or not we're obedient, God still does what he wants to do in our lives. Mm-hmm. So it's like, whether or not I tell him yes in that moment, it may be a lot different. Right. But it'll still happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah. If he really needs something done and you don't, like, obey, he's gonna use someone else to get that
right
done.
It'll still happen. And I think it's just one of those things where it's like, at what point are you gonna wake up and say, God, I want you to use me. I want you to use me now. Right. Like, I want to be a part of that. I want to be the person that you use. Yeah. Not somebody else, not me in 10 years when I finally get it and I finally understand what it was you were trying to do in that moment. I just want to, like, close my eyes and trust that you're just going to take care of everything and know that, like, regardless of what my situation or my circumstance looks like now and how things are stacked up against me, I know that you're an 11:59 God, and I know that you are able to do what nobody else can, and you can pull through at the last minute when you need to. If this is like you said, you were like, God didn't bring us this far to just leave us high and dry. Right. Like, he didn't bring us this far and give us all of this confirmation and tell us all of these things just to leave us hanging. Like, he will follow through, whether it's the way we anticipate he's going to do it or not. Like, he doesn't answer to us, and I think that's the reality. Right. Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah. I like this.
It was great.
Me too. I know you, like, said this towards the beginning of the episode, but just whenever you were talking about dealing with your emotions instead of just suppressing it, I feel like I've gone through I've done that so much where I just suppress all my emotions and never ever talk about it, and it just gets so much worse. Yeah. And I, like, one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast was because I wanted to give people a place to talk about the things that are weighing on them, so that they can just let it all out instead of just keeping it in. Right. So, yeah, I just thought it was really cool because, like, it's better to just, even if it's messy, it's better to just let it all out.
Absolutely.
And deal with it once it's all out than just keeping it in and, like, hurting yourself basically in the long run.
This is like a really gross analogy, but it's like when you feel really nauseous and you feel really sick, like you ate something really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that you'll just feel better if you could just throw
throw
up.
up.
That's really gross. I'm really sorry. That's like the only analogy I can think of in my head. But then it's true. Like you
feel
throw
so
up and
much
you
better.
feel so much better
Yeah.
because whatever it was that was upsetting your stomach and that was hurting you on the inside is out. Like
Yeah.
it's gone. And so like I feel like it's the same way with your emotions. If it's hurting you inside and there's like all of this like pain, you need to just throw it up, like just get it. Yeah. Just,
Vomit it up.
I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, it's true. Just get it out, and then you can deal with it. Then you can
Yeah.
deal with the situation. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt as bad, and you can, medicate and figure out exactly what was going on so that you can figure out how to treat it. Maybe you ate something bad.
You said Medicaid. And I was like, at first I thought you said Medicaid. I was like, health insurance?
Oh, that's funny. But yeah.
This was really awesome, you guys, and I just really want to say I'm proud of both of you for doing this. Because, I mean, it's like super dope. Like you got the whole setup going, and like, I mean, it's a startup, but it's like it's totally awesome that you guys are doing this. You're keeping up with it. You didn't make your like first episode, and you're like, that sucks. Like, you really shouldn't do that. Like, it's just super cool, and yeah, you guys are like doing this thing, and it's like it's awesome.
Thank you.
And Giselle as well, like from where you've come when I met you to like now, like how much you've actually branched out and like do stuff on your own and like do stuff that that you just like go for stuff. Like when I first met you, it was like you were really like timid at first. You weren't like shy because you have always been goofy, but like you were really timid and like you wouldn't like. And I don't want you to think that this is a bad thing. I'm not trying to rack on you. Just say it.
Just say it and then clean it
I
up.
can take it.
Okay. But like you were so like dependent and attached to Kyron, where it's like you wouldn't go anywhere without him, like the grocery store or like, and it's like now it's like it was like a couple months ago that I started like seeing you, and it'd be like you'd be like on stage, and then like it's like you're starting to do stuff a lot like without him, and it's like I'll be like it's never like it used to be like, oh, Giselle's here, like where's Kyron, or Kyron's here, where's just like, but now it's like oh, like Giselle's here, like Kyron's not here, like it's weird, but it's like it's super cool to see, like, and then I mean I don't know if this must not have been, maybe I missed it. I haven't been there for 3 weeks, but like playing Sundays now. I saw you.
That
up
was
there
my
on
first
Sunday.
Sunday,
Dude,
actually.
that's
Yeah.
awesome, and it's like it's crazy. That's like you've come so far within what I'm just gonna say the last year.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Last year for sure.
And then like now it's like you guys have a podcast, and like you guys have become like the bestest of friends, and I like, and I know like you. I mean, went from being in Devoted. I wasn't like creepy or anything, but like you both were like looking for a best friend, like at the time, and it's like it's cool because you guys are such a good fit for each other. Like you're both like.
Giselle's gonna cry again.
You're both cringy.
Yeah. That's what we're going for.
Like you guys have like the most inside jokes right now. Like what happened? Like miss. Like I was like, oh, that was cringy, and you're like, yeah. Like wait a second. Like there's more to this.
We may or may not spend too much time together, but you know what? We may or may not be okay with that. That's fine.
All right.
Oh man! All right. Well, thank you. We really appreciate that.
Thank you guys. I've been waiting to do this, and if you need a part 2, I got a whole story.
Stay tuned.
Hey, we can probably use it.
Hey, I got a whole story about what happened to me and why my faith will never be shaken, and like I know God is real. Period.
Stay tuned for that, guys.
Part two.
that-
Maybe next week.
Yeah, and for a leader to bait people in, I had a traumatic experience when I was 14 that dealt with possession with someone in my family. And
Wow.
I
take the
understood
sweater off for
that the
this one.
devil was real. So I was like, if the devil is real, like God has to be
Yeah.
real.
Wow.
Period.
That's crazy.
And now, like, there's nothing that's gonna shake that ever. Like, if the government's like, "Oh, aliens, UFOs," I'll be like, "Shut up." Like, it doesn't.
God
like,
is real.
It's not. It will not be. It doesn't matter how. And they'll be like, if something happens like that, it's like, well, God created aliens. If it's real, then it's like, it's not, there's no like, God is real to me in that. That's never, ever, 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 ever gonna change. Like,
Yeah.
you can't go attached on my heart. Bible verse. But
That's awesome.
yeah, it's part 2.
Yeah, part 2.
Stay tuned.
So
It's that time.
It's that time.
in the episode.
we
Time
should
in
we should
the
have like
episode.
a little jingle
I'm just
for
trying to play
that.
along.
We should like a little.
I don't know what it is.
If you've seen any of our other episodes, which you have, right?
I have, but not like
the whole thing. No,
Fully,
that's fine.
fully.
Okay,
That's
so
fine.
we
That's
started
fine.
doing this thing.
it's fine. It's totally fine.
Starting with Kyron's episode, we started doing this thing where we offer words of
Yes.
encouragement to our guests.
Yes. But we have
So-
nothing for you, so we're just gonna end it right here, guys. We'll see you. Just kidding.
She says that to everyone, don't worry.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
This time, I'm actually okay with going first.
Yeah?
So.
Sick. I knew what I was going to say, too, in case you put me on the spot. But I guess you can go. It's probably going to be whatever I was going to say. That's fine, though. It's cool. Sorry. I like how we all decided to wear white today.
Oh yeah.
We unintentionally all
Right.
matched with each
Shout out to
other
God is dope because God is dope.
because God is dope.
I need more shirts.
Enough said. Oh, man.
Were you gonna say something else?
No,
Oh,
I was
okay.
just saying that we were all matching because I
Okay.
noticed you were also wearing white.
Well, okay.
You're supposed to talk into the mic, not do
She's trying to speak
osmosis with your.
telepathically.
Yeah, right. They can hear my
Okay.
thoughts.
Anyway, kind of like what you said earlier about like seeing how I can't. What?
English is
that
all-
is-
we're speaking English.
Like how I am now versus like how you met me. It's like whenever I met you, I was like, man, this dude kind of intimidates me. He's like all hard, you know?
What?
Like you know.
I get what you're saying.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh so loud in the microphone.
Okay. Anyway.
Bad choice of words.
He's like he's really cool, and he's like really intimidating, you know, but like, and watching you grow from where you were whenever you were living here in the
your
garage.
In the garage. The title of this episode is going to be In the
your
Garage.
garage. That's what it's gonna be. That is total clickbait. It's like, what?
What?
In your garage?
What are you doing in your garage?
Yeah. Yeah, just seeing how you were back then with like your mental state and just and how you are now. It's like back then you were like I don't know how to like explain it. You're kind of like soft compared to how you
I
were
get it.
back then.
Totally.
But you never lost like the strength that you have and your boldness,
Right.
you know. And also like just the attitude change from when
Oh,
you
yeah.
were living here and to now. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
crazy. It's really cool like seeing you grow into that and to the person that you are today. And I just want to say like I admire like how obedient you are to and how yeah, you just listen to what the Lord tells you and you just go for it and you just have faith and you trust that whatever he has you doing is,
Yeah.
there we go. Yeah.
Yep.
I just
Thank
really
you.
admire that.
That was good. That's kind of half of what I was going to say, but it's fine. Anyway, Brandon, I feel like I didn't know you super well, like, before, but I do just remember, like, my, like, first impression of, like, you and Rosa was just, like, I just remember, like, being in Devoted and just seeing how much you guys just truly relied on God. You guys were, like, and I think it was just, like, the season you guys were in.
We had no choice.
Yeah, like, you guys literally had your backs up against the wall, but the way that you guys just were so, like, faithful, and you guys just loved people so well.
Not so much anymore.
That's all in the past, actually. Used to is keyword there.
Yeah. Loved.
No, but you guys just love people so well, and I think that I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. Like, I think that the church choosing to put you guys in the position that you're in is because, like, your character speaks volumes to who you are. And their words, English. I'm sorry. It's like a combination of, like, losing my train of thought and like ADHD and just being like, I don't know words. No, but I've always really admired the way that you guys, and, like, you specifically, you were always like, no, like, we're doing this because God said so.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you said, like, God to you is just so undeniably real. And he's made himself known to you, like, so many times in your life in such big ways, that you're so inclined to hear from him. Like, I thought it was really cool when you were talking about how you're, like, you're just, like, laying down to go to sleep and you just hear the Holy Spirit speak to you. It's like, I don't even know if I'd be listening for that.
Yeah.
But you're just hanging out, doing whatever. And you just, like, hear that. Like, you're just so in tune with his heart. And you walk so well in that rhythm with him. And it's very evident that you spend a lot of personal time, like, with the Father. Like, you just spend a lot of time getting to know him and allowing him to get to know you, because you know that relying on him and relying on his voice is the most important thing above everything else.
Yeah.
So I've always really admired that. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool. And just to see both you and Rosa, your faithfulness to each other and to the Lord. I just remember, like, I have all these images of, like, being at Devoted during worship and you guys going through, like, that season, and Rosa's, like, on one side of the room and she's just, like, face down and she is just, like, praying so hard for both of you guys. Like, you can just see it. Like, she is going to war for you guys, and you're on the other side of the room and you are just spending time with the Lord, and you are just, like, you're worshiping and you're just taking opportunity to just be grateful and be thankful. And I was like, oh my gosh, who are these people? Like, they're literally walking through fire, and they're just, like, they're so, like, at peace and content. And whether or not that's actually how it felt, that's
I mean,
that's what the world saw. So
that's kind of what happened. Like you said, we were walking through fire everywhere else, but, like, same thing. Like, now for us, it's like Wednesday. Well, for me, I don't know about her, but for me, it's like Wednesday nights. Like, I'll walk through fire, like, all week or whatever, but, like, Wednesday nights, it's like I get to be somebody here, and, like, I get to, like, actually spend time with the Lord, and like you were saying, like, you would just beg, and it's like, God, like, use me, and it's, I still do that as a youth leader. So it's like I'll doubt myself, and it's like, God, just, like, I just want to be used, even though, like, I'll pray for them every week, and, like, there's a point where it's like, it's not necessarily, like, selfish to a point where it's like, it's kind of like, I want God to use me, and then it's almost kind of like sometimes, like, that's not enough. Like, I want you to use me more. Like,
Right.
use me more. And it's good and bad to do that. It's good to want more, but also, like, you have to understand to rest and like, rest in that there's, like, God says, like, I'm using you now. Like, I'm using you week by week. Like, it's not going to, like, catch fire right away. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I look back, I'm almost, it's so fast. Like, I was praying that for so long, like, God, please use me. But then it's just turned to, like, again, gratitude. Like, thank you for even just putting me in this position. Like, I know, like, some days I might be used, some days I might not. Like, I'm still just going to do my duty to do this. And it's duty. I'm just kidding. But it's to a point where it's like, I've almost been doing this for like a year now. And, like, I still learn from the kids, like, dank memes and stuff. But I still learn, like, that, like, the way that they're going through stuff at a young age. Like, it's a different, I have to use, like, different teaching methods because it's like the stuff that, it's so crazy. Okay, so they're going through the stuff that we went through at whatever, like, older teenage years, but they're young and their minds are still too young to comprehend. Like, they still can't comprehend what we would at whatever 16, 17. Like, their minds are still way too young to comprehend, and it's like you have to speak to them, and even in, like, different, like, what I have to do all the time is like, oh, when I was in middle school, like, back in my day, like, I have to refer to that all the time. Like, the other day they're like, you're 26? Like, what?
It's like not even that old
Right.
either.
I was like, but then that's what I was saying. I was like, it's not that old. I'm only like, I'm double your guys' age. Like, I'm your life and another one. Sorry. Like, that is pretty old. But yeah, I still do that to this day is basically what I was saying. Like, I want him to use me, and I still, like, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And because it's like a drug. It's like when you when I was gonna be like, when a kid comes up to you crying, but it's like when they come up to you, like, crying and telling you how much you've helped them.
Yeah.
It's like a drug. Like, it's like you just want more.
I know what you
You just want more of that feeling
Right.
of being useful to someone, and, like, literally, I mean, changing someone's life. Like, I still have stuff from when my youth pastors, like, when I was little, stuff that people would say, or my youth pastors would say, that literally, like, changed a direction in my life, and it's like, I'm that guy now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're really grateful for you, and I think it's really cool. It's really cool to get to see you guys be parents too,
Thanks.
because you guys are the coolest.
Cool to be parents. It's not as bad. It's really not as bad as everybody tries to say it is. It's not as bad. Like, the only reason I'm not getting sleep is because, like, she has to wake up. Well, had to, not anymore. Like, the first couple of weeks, she had to wake up to, like, feed her every 2 hours. And then, like, obviously the baby's going to be, like, crying a little bit or, like, fussing because she has to change her diaper, blah, blah, blah. But it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
Like, again, we are blessed with a really great baby.
Yeah,
Like,
she sleeps like a lot.
like,
It's so funny.
She doesn't cry unless, like, she's hungry or she's, like, cold because you're changing her diaper. But then again, like, the things that, like you just deal with stuff as a parent. Like, and, like, I almost cried one time because it's like she had a diaper rash and, like, it hurt, and you could tell she had,
She's,
like,
in
it hurt her
pain,
in pain. But it was like, it wasn't just like a regular cry. Like, it was like that shake. Like,
but, like,
and it's
painful
like, oh,
cry.
I'm sorry. Like,
There's, like, nothing you can do.
I want to take it away from you. Yeah.
It's, I mean.
I want to go play with her. Can we end the episode so we can go play with her now?
And cut.
We're ending this episode early. Goodbye.
Okay.
Oh, man. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on here. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing here. I'm looking forward, honestly, if there's a part 2. I'd love
could
We
be.
will let you know.
I'd love to tell that story because it's like
I kind of would
Yeah.
really like to hear it.
I mean, even when I was in, it wasn't devoted, but like before you guys were in
Yeah.
devoted, it was called The Call. And when I told that story, like, there were 3 specific people that were like, I didn't know you went through that. Like,
Wow.
like that changed my life specifically. Like,
Dang.
so
That's cool. All right. You'll
All right.
have to stay tuned. Little
Stay
cliffhanger
tuned.
for ya.
cliffhanger.
All right. We're going to close it out.
You close it out.
I know. I said we're gonna close it out. Gosh, she's like, I do the open, you do the close. If I try and pawn it off on her, it's a big deal. Anyway, just kidding. Okay, that's gonna be the thumbnail.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and
Watching.
we really appreciate
Yes,
you
and
and watching.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you guys, and we will. Follow us on Instagram. Hello.
Duh.
Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to your YouTube channel so you can watch us and
this video.
potentially maybe see more videos with Brandon's baby in them, or maybe any of our other friends who have babies, their babies in them. So yeah. What was I gonna say? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.